let's get your story from Karnataka, where the politicians really don't seem to be learning their lessons. Instance after instance emerges of how lockdown rules, social distancing rules, basic guidelines that have been put out for the entire country are not being followed. Now, here is another instance of that. Congress leader and former minister P.D. Parmeshwar Naik celebrated his son's wedding ceremony, and there were at least over 100 people who were in attendance, a huge crowd that gathered for this wedding ceremony. Not only that, you saw several top political leaders also in attendance over there, including state ministers, and many of them not even wearing their mask, mingling with each other, attending a wedding ceremony, not even wearing the basic mask that everybody is supposed to. If a common man steps out on the street without a mask, he can be penalized and fined for that, breaking this rule. But obviously that doesn't apply as far as Netas in Karnataka is concerned. Neha, in fact, is joining us with more details. Neha, who all were present at this ceremony?
Well, Tanvi, there's a host of leaders from, cutting across party lines who were present from the BJP, from the Congress, from the JDS. We're seeing, senior leaders from the Congress such as, G. Parmeshwara as well, who was also, the former minister as well in the state cabinet. Now, apart from that, we're also seeing the health minister, the current health minister himself. We're also seeing the forest minister, Anand Singh, who was present. Several ministers of the current cabinet, as well as former ministers and senior leaders from the Congress and the JDS as well were present at this, wedding. Remember, Tanvi, that, even from the seating arrangement that we're trying to bring you in the visuals, there's at least a good 200 to 250 people who are present over there. No prior permission was, sought for this. The district officials were not really informed or kept in the loop about this, is what they claim. When we did, of course, speak to the police, when we did speak to the SP of Ballari, he went on to say that, yes, action would be taken and a case would be registered. But the question still remains is, isn't it too late? There are more than, of course, 250, 300 people over there in attendance. We've seen this in the past as well about Netas flouting norms and rules being very different for the common man and for the Netas. Remember that even right now across the state of Karnataka, not wearing a mask, beg your pardon, can attract a fine of almost 200 rupees, apart from other, sections of the IPC, a case being filed under other sections as well against you. So really, of course, irresponsible, not something that you would expect from elected representatives. But having said that, also at this point in time, there's no clarification that has actually come in from any of those who were present or any of those who were in attendance. And we're seeing it's not just the social distancing norms that were flouted, Tanvi, but also the fact that none of them were really wearing masks. They were all shaking hands, standing very close to each other. That's all the norms being flouted under one roof.
All right, so this is what is happening repeatedly, and this unfortunately what we are seeing is it's the VVIPs, it's the politicians, those in power who are actually leading from the front when it comes to lockdown violations. And viewers, in Karnataka, that's actually a state that otherwise has done much better than many of the other states and the big states in the country. But right now they are seeing a rise in cases even in cities like Bengaluru. And if it continues this way, it could get problematic as for Karnataka. Neha, thanks so much for joining us on that story.